WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show's about. That's what we've been doing for over 16 years.
No. It's about sports entertainment.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon and Lucas DeSangro.
Will you stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow, you know that?
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon here with you alongside Mitch.
Hey there, folks. Back on the mic and ready to go.
Yeah, Twitch, I believe, is still recouping from his first Future of Honor match last night down at the MFPW Arena against Ken Dixon. And, well, from what I heard, it didn't quite go so well, so I don't know if he'll be joining us today. I don't think so. He might be convalescing a little bit here.
You know, I'm curious to what happened.
Well, let's just say from what I saw on the social media, which I'll admit that I'm not the greatest at, but seeing little bits and pieces here that apparently things didn't go so well for Good Lucas. And there was a rather funny, I guess, I don't know, meme? Is that what the kids say these days?
Is it meme or me?
I think it's meme. And I sound so old saying this.
Yeah.
What is this meme thing that these kids are doing these days with their stuff and their things? I don't know. I feel like that Simpsons bit. Old man yells at cloud. Yeah, you know the one. So yes, so somebody had put. Actually, here it is. Going to Lucas's Twitter. Which, yeah, I guess I'll give him a little bit of a plug, at Twitchy_master. But, so yeah, he talked about making his debut for Future of Honor, how he barely slept and was nervous and excited and determined and wanted the chance and all that stuff. And I'd responded, that explains why he's not going to be on here today, which he said he was going to be calling in. So we'll see if that's the case here. And Andy from Florida chiming in via text, actually, saying it's meme. Mimi is the girl from the Drew Carey show. Lots of interactivity here. Gotta love it here. Good to hear from Andy from Florida, by the way. He's a good longtime friend going back more years than either of us would like to recollect. Basically, we've been friends since we were, like, your age.
That's old.
Hey, whoa.
Hey.
Pump your brakes, kid.
Hey.
Anyway, so somebody had linked that here and put pictures of, well, as I can see it here, Lucas being, it looks like his arms are being stretched behind his back as he is face first toward the corner post here. That's one picture. Then it looks like his back was getting stomped on as well, and then just kind of being left pretty much laying there. And, well, the comment with it is, well, the live Twitch stream is now dead. Yeah. With a pun on the streaming service Twitch.tv, of course.
Yeah,
and
based on the photos, you might say it didn't go
so we
well.
won't be hearing from him, it looks like. At least I don't believe so. Now, also of note, this is an abbreviated show as... Well, things change second by second around here. That's for sure. I think I actually have a line for that.
Things change second by second around here. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's... The more things change, the more they stay the same. But no, in all seriousness, we had a high school basketball game that was scheduled for later this evening, but because Mother Nature is looking to inflict her will a little bit later, if you will, That game that was set for 5:30 this evening is actually moved up to 1 o'clock, so at 12:45 we'll be breaking for pregame for Willingboro at Trenton High School here on WBCB, as well as video streamed on WBCBsports.com. There we go. So now that we've got all that out of the way here, let's get to the business, as it were here.
Let's get down with it.
All righty. Well, one thing that we meant to get into last week, but time ran a little bit short here, was that last Friday, WWE announced the opening of the UK Performance Center. So essentially, it's a training ground for up-and-coming wrestlers, but they have one already based in Orlando, Florida, for here in the United States, and that's where their developmental operation NXT runs out of. So now with their recently developed NXT UK for the United Kingdom, they now have a performance center where wrestlers in the realm of Europe can start training.
So basically, it's a training camp overseas?
Exactly. As they put it here, the first world-class WWE training facility outside of the United States and a significant step in WWE's efforts to localize content around the world. So they're going to essentially have different regional global territories is I think what their direction is a few years from now. So you'll have NXT here in the United States, you'll have NXT UK, maybe you'll have NXT Germany, maybe you'll have NXT Japan, maybe NXT Australia. I mean, there's so many possibilities, and who knows where they're going to go with it. But if you're a WWE stockholder, you're probably just loving all of it as you're counting your money.
That's a pretty widespread move on their part.
Yeah, they've been going from, I mean, they were initially regional back in the 80s to expanding to a national phenomenon as they've been for the last 30 years, and it's now gone to a global situation as well. So it's interesting to see how it all has transpired over the course of the last few decades here. But yeah, with 17,000 square feet, 2 training rings, world-class strength and conditioning equipment, and versatile content creation infrastructure, so I guess help with promos and working on the microphone and whatnot, the UK Performance Center will enable WWE to train athletes through a comprehensive program including in-ring training, physical preparedness, and character development. The Executive VP of Talent, Live Events, and Creative, Paul Levesque, better known as Triple H, name you might have heard in the past, he said, quote, "This is the latest milestone in our global localization strategy and the next step in establishing local NXT brands around the world. We are incredibly proud to open the UK Performance Center and provide our NXT UK superstars the same world-class coaching and development programs that we deliver at WWE's Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. More than 30 of the best European talent signed to NXT UK's brand will train at the UK Performance Center and can be seen weekly on the NXT UK program that streams on WWE Network every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mountain Time, or known here, or Greenwich Mean Time, I should say, better, or as we know it here, 3 p.m. Eastern. So it's Wednesday afternoons for us here.
I see.
Because time zones and all that.
Time overseas.
Yeah,
a little bit of a time gap there, a little bit of a hour displacement here and there.
Yeah, as long as we don't do the time warp, because that's a whole nother thing. Rocky Horror? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I get it.
All right. Insinuating that I think most people get the time warp. I would at least certainly hope so. Well, let's go to a topic warp here, and let's actually go to the phones where we've got Lee from Buckingham hanging on. Lee, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Pretty good. What's going on?
I got a question for you. So I kind of think I'm like a big deal up at Parks Casino. I go there all the time, and now that they offer sports betting, you're allowed to bet legally on the Royal Rumble. And, every year there always seems like there's a couple guys that you can single out that have a chance. Do you guys have a couple suggestions, maybe? and then I got another question for you. Whatever happened to Trish, the female wrestler?
Trish Stratus?
Yeah, her. Whatever happened to her?
Well, I mean, she, after her time in WWE, I mean, she's up in Canada. That's where she grew up, and I mean, she's just kind of enjoying life after wrestling. I mean, she makes appearances every once in a while.
She was smoking hot.
She certainly was it was definitely a different time then, and she still looks fantastic now in her late 30s at this point. But getting back to your initial question here regarding, it's something I haven't really thought of, even though we have talked briefly as this was something that was more of an overseas thing. But now, you're right, there is the possibility that, and I can't say that I've necessarily looked at it, but there could be gambling or wagering odds in terms of the different matches for the Royal Rumble. And by no means am I any kind of handicapper, not even close to it. You know, there are certainly other, I'm sure there are other, I guess, other experts who could definitely do better at that. If I even thought I knew anything about it, I'd definitely be living the high life. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but
the only reason I asked is because it seems like if you go on the websites and just kind of browse around, there's always like a favorite guy each year. Like I remember a couple of years ago, Batista came back and everybody was picking him and he wound up winning. Well, now that you can legally bet on it, I wasn't sure if maybe you were in the know and knew of anybody or like a long shot or something to throw a couple bucks on, you know?
Well, I can tell you this much just in doing a little bit of perusing through the interwebs, although, as I said, technology is not exactly my friend. I found there's actually a odds comparison site via Sweden here that is providing odds, and it looks like the odds-on favorite using a couple of different sites here. It looks like Seth Rollins is the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, you know.
Yeah, the top four here that it looks like, the highest odds the best odds look to be for Seth Rollins, followed by Braun Strowman now that he's been removed from the title match, so there is a possibility he could be an unannounced entrant. Also, Drew McIntyre's listed, as well as John Cena. Those are your top four odds getters.
All right. You know, thank you very much, guys.
No problem, Lee. Thanks so much for chiming in. Greatly appreciate it. Hey, you never know where things are going to go here. Although, to be fair, I mean, people are throwing all kinds of money on things here. I'm looking there. The Rock is listed as a 21-1 odds. I don't know if he's going to find time in his movie schedule to be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, although I will admit that the Phoenix crowd would go absolutely ballistic if all of a sudden the countdown clock goes from 10 to 0 and all of a sudden you hear, "If you smell what the Rock is cooking," and the crowd just, they lose their minds.
Explodes and cheers.
Yeah, well, they would blow the roof off of it, but it's in a baseball stadium, so there's no roof in Chase Field. So that it would certainly be the place to do it. I mean, they even have, and this shows, I mean, people will put money on anything here. They have CM Punk, who hasn't wrestled in close to 5 years at this point, as he stepped away from WWE to compete in mixed martial arts. And they have him as a 34-1 favorite. And the same odds of that for sextagenarian Hulk Hogan. I don't think Hogan's going to go for his third there, brother. I like I said, I mean, granted, this is Sweden. I mean, I may have to look into more of that for next week beforehand. But what can I say? Stranger things certainly have happened here. So we're going to, that's right, we have to shake things up a little bit here because we're a little bit shorter a time than usual here. So we're going to take our first time out. It's around our normal time here, but we'll have to shorten the second segment here. But on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit of Chris Jericho, who was recently interviewed on by a pretty popular YouTube interviewer and had a lot to say regarding his recent signing with All Elite Wrestling, the new upstart organization funded by the Khans, owners of the Jacksonville Jaguars NFL franchise. So we'll get into that. We've also got the Today in Wrestling History, the birthdays, more news and notes. Room for your calls as well, as we see one on the line here. Ted's inching his way on over here to let us know, look at the local scene from Ed in Northeast Philly. We'll get to him on the other side as well. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Lee Piccarello, inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. to The Head Game, a must-listen show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown, Pennsylvania is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athletes to perform at the highest level of today's game. Athletes get into the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
It's 1930s Paris and just hours away from the concert of the century. But love affairs, bedroom hijinks, mistaken identities, and opening night chaos have producer Henry Saunders desperate to try just about anything for the show to go on. Get ready for Ken Ludwig's A Comedy of Tenors, an uproarious comedy filled with slamming doors, unbridled passion, and madcap hilarity on an operatic scale. Tickets at walnutstreettheater.org.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
What script? We got rid of it, remember?
Yeah, oh yeah, you crumbled it up. Wait, no, it's in the waste bucket. I don't know why I just called it a waste bucket. I've been watching too much British television. And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro. No, sorry, that's the rubbish bin. It's in the
Where most of your jokes go. Yeah. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Mitch.
What's up?
Because Twitch, along with his jokes, apparently went into the rubbish bin. I don't know. No, he is convalescing after his Future of Honor match last night with Ken Dixon that did not quite go so well.
Kind of went downhill.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll tell us more about it when he's able to communicate. But somebody who certainly has no issues with communication at all would be one Ed from Northeast Philly, who's got a look at the local scene. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. I'll make it short.
Sure, go for it.
SWF Mass Casualty will be in Saylorsville, New Jersey on January 29th with a 6 p.m. bell time. Shane Douglas, Michael Elgin, and the Lap will be there.
Okay, Sayreville, that's Central Jersey. That's not too far of a hike from here.
Kurt Angle's in Court Time Sports Center tonight in Elizabeth, New Jersey. 7 p.m. bell time. Kurt Angle, that's going to be the IWC Wrestling.
Oh, nice to see that he's making appearances outside of WWE. That they're at least giving him the opportunity to do so here.
I said about Braun Strowman last week at I Play America. Tomorrow,
Indeed.
It'll be tomorrow between 12 and 3 in Freehold.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how the weather does as far as getting out to that here. Although it looks like it's going to be more rain than snow from everything that we've heard here.
And H2O Wrestling is going to have a pay-per-view party for Royal Rumble at the H2O Center in Williamstown, New Jersey.
Oh, very nice.
And they're having a show that afternoon as well.
Okay, nice little lead into everything going on here. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know about mixed roast beef yet, if they're going to have anything. I didn't get in touch with them yet.
Well, I'm sure something will be out there at some point here, and it's hard to say. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for giving us a look at the local scene here, Ed. Greatly appreciate it as always. And let's get back to things here as we only got about 20 minutes here as things are rapidly moving along here. That is for sure. So as I'd mentioned before the break, Chris Jericho was recently interviewed on YouTube by Chris Van Vliet and had a lot to say regarding his recent signing with All Elite Wrestling, including why he signed with AEW rather than WWE.
It's one of those things I never would have guessed it, but as the past year progressed, going from New Japan to All In to the Cruise and kind of seeing how life was on the other side, I realized that, like the Bucks and like Kenny and these guys, you can make a good living outside of the WWE. And then when you have a billionaire getting involved, suddenly I get the biggest offer of my career by far. I couldn't say no.
Does that mean now you're completely done with WWE?
Well, I mean, maybe in 3 years I might, go there or be associated with them or whatever. But for right now, for the next 3 years, it's AEW. That's where I'm signed, and that's the contract that I have.
Now, Jericho was also asked whether finishing his career in WWE is a goal.
My career, I never really expected it to go this long. And then 2016 came around, and the thing with Kevin Owens started, which was just ridiculously popular.
Yeah.
And suddenly Chris Jericho's name value is bigger than ever. And then the opportunity to do Alpha versus Omega, Kenny versus Jericho at the Tokyo Dome. Suddenly, in a business standpoint, now Jericho's making a difference to help this company, New Japan, make some real inroads in the States.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, and then all these other things happened to where I have this great year in Japan. It was only supposed to be one show, but then signed on for 3 more matches. And then, the cruise comes up, and I need a main event for that, so I do that match. I never really expected to still be wrestling, but then to be wrestling at the highest of levels with my name bigger now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? I mean, I don't ever really think about what I'm going to be doing in the future. If I finish my career with the WWE or AEW, I mean, my time in the WWE is cemented. If I go back or not, it's not like it was back in the day when you're blackballed for life and you'll never hear the name Chris Jericho again. It's not like that. Yeah. So whether I go back there or not, I mean, I'm still always a part of the WWE for sure.
And given this time of year, well, he was asked also about the Royal Rumble because every year, I mean, we heard a little bit of it with the caller there. There's always that surprise entrant or who's going to be a mystery entrant. A lot of people are pointing to Kenny Omega, for example, as one particular possibility here. I mean, he's the big free agent here, and that was something that was talked about as well. But he was asked about the Royal Rumble as well as how Vince McMahon reacted to Jericho's signing.
People always think that. You know what I mean? I still get people asking me, so like, are you going to be in the Rumble or what? And I'm like, no, I'm with I posted a picture last night of me and Triple H because I wanted to send the message to everybody that everything is cool. And I still get people going like, oh, okay, so this means Jericho's coming back to the WWE. And it's all just a big ruse. It's like, but that's wrestling fans for you, man. They're the most loyal and questioning fans ever that want to know everything right now and don't really want to wait for the story to unfold.
So there's no bad blood with Triple H or with Vince right now?
Not on my end. I spoke to Vince before I signed, and he knew it. He was very, the words we exchanged very amicable, and it wasn't like it was a surprise. Business is business,
sure.
And Vince McMahon is my friend. I respect him. I love the guy. No ill will whatsoever. Just the business road took me this way, and I would have been crazy not to do it because I might insult somebody.
Yeah.
And I think the first guy that would agree with that is Vince.
Yeah, it wasn't just that the offer was for a lot of money; it was for a whole lot of money. That's being backed by billionaires certainly doesn't hurt matters. So they're looking to be a major player. I don't know if they're going to necessarily compete with WWE and try to go head to head and create a new Monday Night Wars for the new millennium or anything. We're not going to, let's pump the brakes on that here. But I could certainly see that there's the possibility for talents to go to this other organization. And there's a lot of different options now for wrestlers. And Jericho talked about this in the interview, how you have All Elite Wrestling. Other than WWE, you have All Elite Wrestling. You have Impact. You have Ring of Honor. You have New Japan. There's so many different opportunities now that weren't really there 5-10 years ago. And that's nothing but good for the business, as that means more people can be, more people have opportunities.
More people can get the spotlight.
Exactly. And it's a matter of what you do with it once it shines on you. He also spoke about the possibility of CM Punk or Kenny Omega signing with All Elite Wrestling. Well, you can see he chuckled probably at that. Fans still wondering if he'll appear in the Royal Rumble match. We talked a little bit about that. Also changing his persona, the WWE Hall of Fame, Becky Lynch and the success of the women's division. There was a whole bunch more, so definitely want to check that out. Chris Van Vliet, that's Vanvliet. So, yeah, give that a listen. It's about a 22-minute interview or so, something along those lines. Alrighty, we've got just enough time here. Let's go ahead and, before we get into our second break here, get to Russell from Cobalt Ridge. Russell, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly. Oh, apparently we have Hugh Morris on the line here. Alrighty, well, what we'll do instead, we'll go over to our good friends over at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane at Bristol, PA, where a great way to shake off the football lost funk is with music and beer at the Broken Goblet Brewery, such as tonight, where they've been packing rooms around the area, and the Goblet is excited to have the Dana Collins Trio debut at B-Gob tonight. And as far as the brews, well, try something new like the Broken Batch Hazy IPA with pear and lactose. Or on tap for the first time in a while, the Escorted from the Building Irish Red Ale. It's just like their bartender, Kate. It's strong and beautiful, and it'll totally knock you on your ass. Looking for something a little lighter? How about Steinbeiser's Buried Treasure, a 5.7% ale that's easy drinking and has way more love than the domestics you're used to. You all right over there, Mitch?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Plus, there are a lot of weekly features, including Sunday Bloody Marys, as well as Bloody Flights and brews from noon till 5. Tuesdays, you've got Jackbox.tv on the big screen, and it's free to play from your cell phone. Wednesdays, Quizzo from the Dark Side with bartender Reese. Thursdays, you've got house musician Mike Estabrook, who plays tunes and has Estabingo, gives you a chance to win a part of a quarterly jackpot. Also, Fridays, live music from a variety of acts, and Saturdays, you have a hodgepodge of events. Just a few reasons why it's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Please enjoy responsibly. Coming back on the other side, well, we've got more news, notes, birthdays, today in wrestling history, and the return of Twitch.
The return of Twitch.
You don't say. Apparently. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
Chickies and Pete's, proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and your favorite local sports bar, has you covered this weekend for football playoffs. The home crowd will be at Chickies and Pete's for the definitive game-watching experience. Catch all the action like nowhere else and enjoy ice-cold draft beer and craft beer and all your Chickies food favorites. Playoff football and world-famous crab fries. Nothing comes close. Official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles Touchdown Club and a proud partner. ChickiesandPete's.com for locations and details.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, January 19th. On this date, in 1991, the WWF held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Hulk Hogan won the 30-man Royal Rumble match. On this date, in 1992, the WWF held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Ric Flair won the 30-man Royal Rumble match, winning the vacant WWF Championship in the process. On this date, 1997, the WWF held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Shawn Michaels pinned Psycho Sid to win the WWF Championship. On this date, in 2003, WWE held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Brock Lesnar won the 30-man Royal Rumble match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, January 19th.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Dare here with you alongside Mitch.
Hello yet again.
Hello yet again. And joining us on the phones, Twitch.
Hello, evil doer. Hello. Hi.
Oh,
I'm alive.
you sound. Oh, you are alive. Okay. The live Twitch stream is back on apparently.
For a moment. Yeah, I got curb stomped by Ken Dixon last night. That was I for those of you that didn't know, listeners out there, I got to had the privilege of wrestling for Future of Honor, which
we did talk about it in both segments already. We put you over, brother. Don't worry.
No,
I figured you'd be listening to know that, but who am I kidding?
No, I'm up in Jersey City right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're in Jersey City?
Yeah, I'm up at going to be up at Pro Wrestling Magic tonight, helping out and such. You know, just doing stuff.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, I'm yeah. Swings and roundabouts, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still processing it, man. Like I said, I wanted to wrestle for like Ring of Honor ever since I stepped foot in a wrestling ring, and it wasn't exactly Ring of Honor, but it's product that they run, and
so you definitely are happy to be there, and well, happy to be anywhere but here, right?
That's not the case at all. I wish I could be in studio. It's freezing up here.
You're fine. You bring heat wherever you go.
Trying to use it up all on myself, though. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's bitter cold up here. No, man.
So was that a little too fourth wallish? A little too Colt Cabana? How you doing?
Yeah. No, you're fine. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't stick around that long. I just wanted to call in.
That's okay. Neither can we, as we're on until we actually got granted a bonus 5 minutes from the philosopher Chris Ermer, full of glory and renown. We have Willingboro and Trenton. We're doing a 10-minute pregame starting at 12:50 as opposed to 12:45. So,
all right.
Thank you, the philosopher, for giving us an extra 5 minutes. That is why you are full of glory and renown.
I'll say this much because I got to get going, but no, I know it's sort of tacky to use a pun in this sense, but
no,
I really am honored, though. Seriously, with this opportunity, I'm honored. So I'm gonna let you guys finish up. Thank you for taking my call. Punching out.
Wow, way to hot dog and grandstand, or something like that. And he drops out just like that.
But you play by different rules, yeah. You gotta get in your grandstanding and your hot dogging, don't you? Yeah.
Macho Man.
Macho Man.
How we
Always
love thee.
classic.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't the one I was looking for, but then again, I know you'd. Well, yeah, I'll play that for you after we're off here. It's a little bit of a twist on that. We'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
To some other news here. This more for the more of the internet technology things that are going to make me scratch my head almost like Shawn Michaels every time he's in front of a computer. I love that meme where he's just. I think it's from one of the In Your Houses back in '95, and back when WWF was using America Online. To give you an idea of, okay, yeah, I'm completely losing Mitch on this one here.
Trust me, I know an American.
Okay, you know American. All right, fair enough. But there's this classic, I guess, GIF is the term they use of Michaels just like looking at the keyboard or laptop or whatever it was and kind of scratching his head and like searching around the keyboard and then pushing one key on the keyboard and then kind of smiling all proud of himself. It is the personification of me at this point. I understand what Michaels was going through in his 30s trying to understand all this stuff, and now here I am in my 30s, and I'm doing the same doggone thing. Okay, maybe not that badly, but he tends to go over the top. Look at SummerSlam 2005, for example, against Hogan. I'll show you that match later. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I need some context.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much every time Hulk Hogan hit Michaels with something, whether it was a punch, a boot, Michaels would oversell. So he'd be flying halfway across the ring just from one punch.
So
it was comedic.
So basically, he overdid the actions. Overdid.
He overacted whenever. We could get into a whole diatribe on that, but we only got a few minutes here. But anyway, with all this technology stuff, WWE has signed with Endeavor Streaming, ending its run with Disney Streaming, which began back in 2014. Vince McMahon, the good old owner of WWE, telling Variety.com in a press release, Endeavor Streaming's best-in-class technology enables us to offer more features, elevate the user experience, and provides us even more opportunity to delight our fans around the world. This is relating to their WWE network. Kind of like the Netflix of wrestling.
I see.
Context. In related news, the story is stated that WWE is also partnering with Massive Interactive, a user interface design firm, which might explain why WWE has been slow to make significant changes to the network layout, as WWE executives did indicate in a past conference call that changes to the layout were coming, but they didn't quite offer a target date, so maybe this will get them a little bit closer to that. Also, this is a fun little tidbit here. So WWE announced that the first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions will be crowned at the Elimination Chamber event next month. 3 Raw Tag Teams and 3 SmackDown Tag Teams will meet in an Elimination Chamber match to determine the first champions, and Elimination Chamber will be held on February 17th, just a little less than a month from now, in Houston, Texas at the Toyota Center. Now, this isn't technically the first time there had been women's tag team champions in WWE history, but it was long enough ago that WWE wants us to forget that heritage. But no, not here at Pro Wrestling Weekly. We love that historical stuff. The first WWF Women's Tag Team Champions were Velvet McIntyre and Princess Victoria back in 1983. They were the reigning NWA Women's World Tag Team Champions, but the WWF withdrew from the National Wrestling Alliance, or NWA, and they became the first WWF Women's Tag title holders in May of '83. And they officially held the gold until December 7th of 1984, when Desiree Peterson took Victoria's place due to a career-ending neck injury 3 months earlier. Moving on to August of 1985, the Glamour Girls, Leilani Kai and Judy Martin, won those tag titles at a house show, a non-televised event, and held the titles for over 2 years until losing to the Jumping Bomb Angels. I know I joke about them quite a bit whenever referring to 80s women's WWF wrestling, but Norio Tateno and Itsuki Yamazaki, the Jumping Bomb Angels, at the inaugural Royal Rumble event back in 1988 in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. And then 6 months later, the Glamour Girls won the titles back at a house show in Japan. And then the titles were deactivated in February of 1989, shortly before WrestleMania 5. So that is your brief history of the women's tag titles that WWE will never tell you about. There you go. The more you know. Also, in terms of other news, Jerry Lawler announcing on his Dinner with the King podcast that he has re-signed with WWE for 2 more years to be a commentator for them. Jerry Lawler, a longtime wrestler, he was the one who feuded with comedian Andy Kaufman, part of that movie Man in the Moon with Jim Carrey back in the day. No, completely lost you on that. Okay. I know. Yeah, keep forgetting that you were born after all of that.
Yep.
And there's only so much of the past you can learn at a time. But Lawler stated that he would be calling the Men's Royal Rumble match along with Michael Cole and JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, and added that Renee Young will be doing the commentary for the Women's Royal Rumble match. As starting last year, there are now 2 Royal Rumble matches in the same pay-per-view, one featuring the 30 men and now one featuring 30 women, all vying for that championship match at WrestleMania. Lawler said that his deal was up on January 10th, and nobody from the company contacted him until he reached out to WWE executive Kevin Dunn 2 days before his deal was up. Dunn immediately reached out to him, apologized, and sent out the contract, which included a raise. Woohoo!
Nice raise.
I guess. He didn't say how much. Now, Lawler also added that nobody from All Elite Wrestling reached out to him to gauge his interest in joining the startup promotion, and the King adding, quote, "I was more than happy to stay where I am." And in other news here, well, hate to bring some bad news into the mix, but independent wrestler Rex Backus died on Thursday morning at the age of 35 following a bout with cancer. Team Vision Dojo in issuing the following statement on his passing. Independent wrestler Rex Backus has unfortunately lost his fight with cancer this morning around 5 or 6 a.m. Rex started training at the Team Vision Dojo in the beginning of 2015 and took right to the sport in all aspects. He was one of the hardest workers inside and outside of the ring. Rex has been battling cancer for some time now. Things looked good when it went into remission, but the cancer came back. He had been fighting, and multiple benefit shows were going on to help him. Last month, Rex wrestled his last match in the main event of a benefit event and beat cancer in a death match, cancer in air quotes. Unfortunately, he lost the last fight but was in a comfortable place in his home with his loved ones. Rex debuted at the dojo on June 9, 2015, winning a multi-man tag team match. In his 3.5 years in the ring, Rex wrestled more than 200 matches, won multiple championships, and recently appeared wrestling on Major League Wrestling, MLW. He will be missed greatly and always very much loved. So, what can I say? I say this every time this happens. Cancer sucks. And something to a little bit brighter and into the video game realm. So this might perk you up a little bit here, Mitch.
Yeah.
WWE Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey has been announced as the voice of Sonya Blade's character in the Mortal Kombat 11 video game.
I've actually kind of heard of this.
Yeah, she said, "I've been a lifelong Mortal Kombat fan, and Sonya Blade was the first kick-ass female video game character that I related to." She said in a press release issued by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, "Now I get to voice her in Mortal Kombat 11. It's a dream come true to be a part of the Mortal Kombat franchise that I grew up playing." And we've got 3.5 minutes left, so it's time for...
Birthdays! Woohoo!
A little bit of the crack there. That's all right.
Yeah, a little bit of the crack.
A little bit of the crack
Just
there.
not there.
That's
today.
all right. It happens to the best of us. All right, 3 + 4 Brucey bonuses. First, on this date in 1941, Pierre Clermont was born, the WWE Hall of Famer, first ever Intercontinental Champion in WWE, as well as the creator of the Royal Rumble match, and longtime right-hand man of owner Vince McMahon, better known as Pat Patterson, turned 78 today. On this date in 1972, Ronnie Aaron Killings was born, the former WWE United States Champion, Tag Team Champion, and 2-time Hardcore Champion, as well as former 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion known as both Ron the Truth Killings and R-Truth, turns 47 today, and he'll be in the Royal Rumble at that 30 spot after winning the Mixed Match Challenge last month. On this date in 1988, Matthias Clement was born. The current WWE Raw superstar known as Tyler Breeze turns 31 today. Now to the Brucey bonuses, things outside of the world of wrestling that you might be able to pick up on a couple of these. This one I know is definitely up Ted's alley here. On this date in 1946, Dolly Rebecca Parton was born.
Dolly Parton?
Yeah, the legendary country music singer known for her huge hit songs, including Jolene, Here You Come Again, 9 to 5, and I Will Always Love You, among many others. She turns 73 today. Yeah, I had to... You get where I was going with that.
Yeah, I know.
On this date in 1954, Catherine Louise Segal was born. The actress and voice actress known for playing Peggy Bundy on Married with Children, as well as Leela on Futurama, known professionally as Katie Segal, turns 65 today.
Nice.
Yeah, the one-eyed...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I figured Married with Children was a little old for you, so I thought, all right, maybe he might get Futurama.
Yeah, I get Futurama.
Okay. Married with Children is hilarious, but definitely, well, in this day and age, doesn't quite stand the test of time. We'll leave it that way. On this date in 1971, Sean Mathis Wayans was born. The actor, DJ, producer, writer, and comedian best known from the TV series In Living Color, as well as the Wayans Brothers and movies including Scary Movie and White Chicks, turns 48 today.
Trust me, I watched a lot of Scary Movie back in the day. I know who he is.
Yeah, well, part of the Wayans family. They had all the Keenan Ivory and Damon Wayans. They're all hilarious. And finally, on this date in 1982, Jodie Leanne Sweeten was born. Yeah, that name might sound familiar. The actress and TV personality best known for her role as Stephanie Tanner on the comedy series Full House and the Netflix spinoff from not too long ago, Fuller House. She turns 37 today. Wow, how quickly the time goes, right? And the time is just about going for here as well. So, yeah, I guess it's time for us to move on out of here, right? How rude! Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I had to sneak that in there. Anyway, Chris Ermer, he's up next. He's got high school basketball, Willingboro and Trenton here on 14.